Hey, this is Lewis from Corporate Citizen. You're watching or listening, or both, who knows, to Mikey's Untitled Music Show. Now go away. I don't want to talk to you no more.
Welcome to Mikey's Untitled Music Show, guys. Today we have Corporate Citizen with us, local band out of San Diego. Say hi, guys.
Hi guys.
Hello.
Yo,
Corporate Citizen has a new EP out right now, guys, called Ruin Town. You can catch it on Spotify. Is it on YouTube as well, guys?
I
Yes.
think it's everywhere.
Yeah.
Spotify, YouTube, Apple Music. It's out, guys. It's out. Came out 2024. Their latest EP. I really love the song Bomb. Or actually, yeah, the song.
The song, all of them. You like everything that's on there. Come on.
Honestly, I like all of your songs, guys. The
Thanks.
three EPs that you have, Failure's an Option and Yeah, Buddy. Um, I really love the sound.
Thank
I
you.
really love the
Oh.
sound. Before we get into that, let's introduce ourselves, please. If you guys can introduce yourselves and what instrument you play.
I'm Bob, and I yell a lot.
I, I'm Lewis, and I play a guitar badly.
All right.
I'm Levy and I play a guitar tragically.
There we go.
Feel like I needed something.
You need something, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you guys really for joining us today. We're really gonna get into where the musical creativity comes from your band, and from what your guys' musical mind is. I'm really interested in knowing where creativity comes from and where your sound comes from. The sound that you guys have, I kind of see it as like, well, not see it. It kind of reminds me of Rancid, Social Distortion, things like that. But I read in your bio that you guys don't you try to do the punk hardcore, but you're not going by any guidelines. Can you tell us a little bit about that? Like what you mean, what you meant by that?
Well, from my point of view, the big part of it is that all of us have different approaches to music all the way around. We all have different bands that we would consider to be our main influences, and we only agree on a handful. But I actually think that's a good thing. What that does is you end up with a mixing pot type situation where you end up with all these different influences coming together and hopefully making something that is good. Obviously that's the main point, but because I don't listen to the exact same bands that Bob listens to, we don't end up writing a song that's just like Pennywise, for example. Whereas if we were both super fans, we would try to copy that style just because that's a band that we like. But because we all come to it from different points of view, it just ends up making something that, like I said, is hopefully relatively original and fun to
So
listen to. Obviously, we want it to be fun to listen to for the people.
definitely. One of the comments I saw on one of your posts was I put this on a Tony Hawk. Put this in a Tony Hawk video game. And I
Yes,
I
thought
please
saw that one
do.
too.
Please
and I
do.
thought,
That would be
yes, hell
awesome.
yeah, please do. I can I could definitely look back or like sit down and play this music. And when I saw that, I just go back to my early days and I'm like, oh shit, I could definitely see myself playing Tony Hawk to this music, definitely. Um,
I think we
Robert,
want that more because of the financial
oh,
ramifications from it.
Yeah.
that would
Like, yeah,
be
it'd
that
be
would be a
great
nice
that
little
people
penny,
would
right?
be introduced, but we want the money from it. Come on, we're not going to lie
Yeah.
on that.
We're only in it for the money.
Right.
And it has been very slow coming, so
Yeah.
someone's got to make that happen.
You heard it here, guys. Add
Yes,
these
we
guys in
want the
Tony Hawk
money.
Pro Skater number 7 or 8, whatever, whatever they're at right now.
We're on like 16 or something now.
Robert, can you um tell us about, one of the earliest memories you have of being creative or, where your creativity comes from?
Yeah. When I was like a little kid, I used to draw like books, and I would do all like the dialogue and everything. And then when I was in high school, I wrote a book. Um, it was not very good. I still have it in my garage somewhere. But yeah, and then that just led into like writing songs or poems or whatever you want to call it if you don't have a band to write for. And yeah, that's pretty much where it started.
Levy, same question.
Uh,
Wait for
I
it.
don't even know, man. It just kind of started happening. I've 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 been around like music my entire life, being raised by my dad and stuff, introducing me to underground bands like the Beatles and Alice Cooper and bands like that and
Underground
stuff.
band?
Yeah,
Did you just
underground.
call the Beatles an underground band?
Probably never even heard of
That's
them.
awesome.
Uh,
That's the biggest
but
underground band ever.
I just kind of picked it up eventually, and I would write my own stupid little songs that were improv every time, and just like scream them. And then I eventually picked up drums and I started taking lessons and I hated that. So then I stopped playing drums because I hated the lessons, but I liked playing drums. And then eventually picked up guitar because I got enlightened. And then I just continued writing my stupid little songs, but this time because I wasn't a toddler, I could remember them. So yeah, that's
Lewis,
how I
what was
started writing
the
songs.
Lewis, what was the first time? What was like the first instrument that you learned how to play or first picked up?
So I started in third grade playing the flute, and went on for a very long time, all through high school. Played flute and I was pretty good, if I do say so myself. But then I moved on to French horn at one point, and then drums. And for a long time, I played drums. And the first time I was in a band or a rock-based band was as a drummer. So yeah, I basically will play anything that I can get my hands on. I will not be great at most of them, but I'll still have fun. I enjoy experimenting with that type of stuff.
How did the band actually get formed? Robert.
Yeah, the drummer Dan and I and our good friend Steve O'Brien started in the summer of 2017, and then we were trying to figure out what to do. We couldn't find anybody to join us, and I'm a teacher, and Levy was a student at my school, and he was wearing a Suicide Machines shirt, and I said, "Hey, how do you know about the Suicide Machines?" And he said, "My dad recorded with their bass player." And I said, "Does your dad have a band?" And from there, Lewis came and joined us, I don't know, a week or so later, and it's
The
been
rest is history.
been bliss ever since.
Yes, yeah.
Everything's been fine and dandy.
Yes.
Your first EP is Failure is an Option. Um, what
Technically, it's not. Technically, they recorded what
Deep
was
cut
it,
for me.
four songs in that summertime, or somewhere between summer and December, because I
Yeah.
joined in December of 2017. They recorded
okay.
four songs before then, so technically that's the first thing, and then we did an album after that.
Yeah. And then even after that, we did the three-songer, the 6 minute meeting one.
Oh yeah, yeah. Is that not on things? That
It,
should still
Um,
be available,
that
right?
should be on there, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even
what
know anymore.
what was it like getting into like your first jam session? Like the three of you and with your original band now, what was it like that first initial jam session and how did you think like did you have any thoughts of um maybe this person doesn't like has a different sound maybe I really don't know how it goes when when you jam with somebody. I've never really I used to play the drums when I was younger. I used to think that I was a drummer. I would just bang the drums a lot and break the sticks all the time. I thought that I was badass, and I thought I was a rocker, but I
Well,
never
and you
really
were,
jammed. Yeah,
and I
yeah,
mean
but
that's
I
really what it comes down to is you just do it.
Not a real
You
yeah.
don't
drummer
have
unless you
to.
break sticks.
But are there any concerns when you first get into that session, Levy, sorry?
Uh, I mean, concerns, no. It was more so just weird because I was in a very small room, a very small and hot room with two dudes I've never met before. One of somebody who wasn't actually my teacher, but somebody who used to teach at my school, and my dad. It was a really weird experience. It wasn't concerning, but it was just odd, you know.
But
And
also,
Robert, how
he
about
knew all of us. I mean, or he had
Yeah.
seen shows and stuff, so he was familiar
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
with the
It
band.
it's not that I didn't know the two guys at all. It was more just that I had never really talked to them. Yeah.
And I would
and
imagine the situation with the original three guys, because I mean, it was a band that was essentially a singer, a guitar player, and a drummer. Uh,
mhm.
so I mean, and you guys knew each other pretty well, right, Bob?
Yeah, yeah. Dan and I had played in a band together for like 3 years, and then Steve O'Brien and I had played in a different band together for like 2 years. So when the three of us got together, we kind of had a plan what we wanted to sound like. Um, at first, because Steve O'Brien used to write everything, and at first we kind of I don't know what we tried to do, and then it wasn't working, and then Steve was like, "I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna take 6 weeks. I'm gonna write a bunch of like 1.5 minute, 2 minute hardcore songs, and then we'll meet back again in October, whatever it was." And when he came back, he had all these like blazing fast, super cool songs, and that's kind of like where it kicked off right there. So we knew what
Uh,
we were getting into, and we all had like the similar, I don't know, mindset of what we wanted to sound like.
so did it sound, or were you more like of a hardcore band at first rather than like a punk hardcore band?
No, I know like the definition of
I
hardcore gets changed around, I
blurred.
guess. For
I
us, it
I
was
think
like
we've
that old
always
school New York hardcore because I'm from New York and Steve
yeah.
O'Brien's from New York. So it was kind of like that fast, verse, chorus, solo, chorus out, and the song's over in like a minute and 45 seconds. Um, it wasn't kind of sometimes when we play with bands and we tell them that we're a hardcore band, after it's over, they're like, "You're not a hardcore band."
Yeah, like
Um,
we've always been more on the punk rock side of things, I think.
yeah,
Like
for
more
sure.
hardcore punk, more like Circle Jerks than like a Knock Loose or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. More punk, less metal.
So writing your first song, how did like you the very what's like the very first song that you guys sat down and created from start to finish?
That's a Bob question.
Yeah. There's a song called "What Would He Do?" Um, and yeah, that was the first one as that group, that trio. But what's interesting is that now that we have Levy with us and we're writing a whole new record right now, that's been fun, like, and sometimes not so fun, but
How it
no, it's been
goes.
fun. It's been super fun. But like writing this new stuff and really like the five of us in the room molding all our ideas together and trying to get our points across because now we have four songwriters in the band. Um, and when you're trying to get like, oh, what you thought the song was like, if I write a song on guitar and then putting it out to the guys and just seeing what comes back is always really fun.
Yeah, because you can't hold on too precious to
Right.
what you think it's going to be. You gotta kind of release it out there and find out what it's going to be molded into. Uh, Otherwise, it's going to end up sounding, in my opinion, it'll end up sounding real stiff because you have a whole bunch of people not feeling like connected to it. Yeah, let the other people find their voice within that original piece, which I think we've started to do pretty well. Like, uh, I, I could be wrong, but at first it seemed like it was one person's vision primarily, and as time has gone on, it's grown into more of a five people, vision, which I
Like
think is a
everybody
healthier band
cares.
situation.
Yeah, everybody cares about what's getting out instead of just the one songwriter, you know.
But that means that sometimes you fight because you want
Yeah,
it
yeah.
to, you feel passionately about what you're doing, and
But that's
sometimes
not
that
that's
creates,
that's not always a bad thing. A
yeah,
lot of times it's a good thing when it comes to being in a band.
I agree. Because in the past we never like really argued, I don't think, about songs or anything. And not that we're like throwing down and getting crazy, but like
yet.
I think what Levy
Yeah,
said, like
yet.
everyone's like bought in and we're really into it. And that's why, sometimes there's like it's just like I don't agree with what you're saying. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
then I don't
You
know,
can't be
it's
afraid to say it.
right, right.
Well,
yeah,
yeah, yeah, you guys are a team, right? You guys are a band, and
yep.
Totally.
if you're
A
afraid
gang,
to
if you will.
say, yeah, if you're afraid to say something, that's you think is going to be benefit for the band, I mean, that's what you're trying to do, right? You're just trying to benefit everybody. Levy, what's been what have you felt has been, new in this new writing process that you guys are doing? Is it like everybody brings lyrics together and then you guys start playing, or how do you guys start creating a song?
I usually write songs from start to finish. I want to do more of a corporate citizen. I need to do more of a corporate citizen, but a lot of times like that seems to be like what like my dad does. But Bob writes all the lyrics. He's pretty
Most,
much
yeah.
he's pretty much the one that does the lyrics for all the new stuff, which is fine. I mean, like he's not gonna be playing the guitar on stage or anything, so I think it's valid,
Yet.
you know. Yeah, yet. We should get you out to there like with an acoustic guitar like Freddie Mercury.
Yeah, let's go.
But yeah, that's usually how it goes. Somebody brings in a song or like a segment of a song, and then we all just start immediately going into it and ripping it apart and just, you know, morphing it into something completely new, you know.
How long have you guys, Lewis, how long have you guys been working on this new album?
Well, we actually
Since the last
just
one.
yeah, we recorded a couple songs for a split EP that's coming out at some point. I'm the worst person to remember dates, but we have something coming out with Blue Elephant and the Seven Snakes. Um, but I don't know when that's coming out. But as soon as that got done, we started kind of. It was a little slow at first, but right now, what we're about
I think we're
five
like six
I think
songs
we
in.
got
five or
six.
six, yeah, deep, and
Six,
we've got a
seven, yeah.
handful of irons in the fire right now that we're
Yeah.
working on. So I mean, it's usually it's kind of a we have a weird flurry of where we'll write and record, and then we'll start playing shows, and then once the shows kind of start to slow down, we'll start getting back into the writing side of it, and that's kind of on the writing side right now.
One of the songs that really kind of changed my musical life, as I like to say, um, is a song "The Spy" by The Doors. Have you ever listened to "The Spy" by The Doors?
I mean, I'm sure I've heard it. I can't. I
Yeah,
don't
me
know it
too.
offhand.
Well, that was one of the songs that I listened to, and I was just like, damn, like I can't believe there's music like this out there. And it kind of just changed my trajectory and of like where what music can be and where it'll go from here now and what am I going to be listening to. I never really um seeked out music as a kid. It was usually just given to me. Or I would listen to the radio a lot, and I was a lot of top 40 growing up, things like that. Bob, what's a band or like a song that really, you know, hit you and made you maybe want to become a musician, or just maybe that you kind of remember stood out and kind of changed your musical life?
Yeah. I would say honestly it was Bad Religion and Pennywise. Before that, I listened to a lot of grunge. I'm a 90s kid, so everything was slow pretty much. And the Eddie Vedder vocal that so many people have tried to copy over the years. It was like a lot of that. And then one day my buddy was like, "Hey, let's cut school and go listen to these tapes that I got from my friend." It was Pennywise and Bad Religion. And after that, I had never heard anything so fast and good, and the lyrics were awesome. And that's what hooked me. I knew then I'd be a music lover for sure, and I would like go find bands. I'd never done that before. I just listened, the old cliche of like, oh, I like whatever's on the radio. I never said that again after that day because
Hmm.
I was always trying to find new music, always.
Lewis, what was that band that really, maybe or band or song, music genre that really kind of changed your life?
Well, the one that I would say changed the way I thought about it. I was already in a band by the time I heard it, but I had been playing probably for maybe a year and a half or so drums in this particular band, and my guitarist had an extensive CD collection at the time And I would just go through and find random things, pick through it and borrow it and go record it onto tapes or whatever. And one day I happened onto Ramones Mania, which I went no wrong way that one. And the first song on that is "I Want to Be Sedated," and
Mm,
for some reason that just rewired my brain. And like I before that I was listening to a lot of like rock stuff. I never listened to what was current. I never have. I never will probably. Before that it was like rock stuff, and before that I was into the original rap stuff, like Run DMC and Beasties and whatnot.
mhm.
And I've always been a Beatles fan. So I always thought that music had to be a lot more, um, I don't want to say complex, but like something about the stripped down nature of that particular song rewired my brain and made it to where everything clicked and made sense as far as rock music, that you don't have to overthink it. It's all about if it makes you feel happy or makes you feel something. That it's not about how complex your parts are. It's about whether or not it makes you feel an emotion. It can be anger, it can be joy, it can be, just excitement, but feel something. And so that's the one for me, I guess.
And Levy, what's that music genre band that, really kind of took a hold of you and made you want to get into actually being, an artist yourself?
And keep in mind,
So,
I'm in the next room. So if you don't say me, I'm going to be mad and beat you up afterwards.
well, I have some bad news. The band that kind of made me start paying attention was probably a band called Masked Intruder. They're like like a Ramones core type of band.
Hmm.
Um, but the band that changed my like way of thinking when it comes to music entirely is probably Slipknot. I got
Mm.
introduced to them when I was in seventh grade, and it like completely threw me off course and like made me from really liking stuff like Masked Intruder to just really wanting to find more stuff like Slipknot, and it made me a massive metalhead. The song is probably "The Devil and I." It was when that record came out.
Mm.
But
I
yeah,
also
that's the
think that
one.
that type of thing, it's important when you find something that isn't something
Yeah,
that like your parents bring to you. Like
that's a
how
big
he
Yeah.
was
one.
saying, he was surrounded by all the stuff that I like ever since he was born. I mean, I'm sure the day we drove home from the hospital, we were probably listening to Ramones or something. So I mean,
I think it was Green Day.
he's been surrounded by it for his entire life. And I'm not into Slipknot. It's just not my particular brand of metal. So when he
Hmm.
found it, it was like finding a piece of gold for himself. So I mean, I can understand why that would mean so much. In the same way that when I discovered Ramones, I mean, granted it was through a friend, but it was still something that my mom had never listened to. So it was important because it felt like something that was speaking to me.
Oh,
Yeah, there was
definitely.
also just something about like how Slipknot was is so angry all the time that it just, it spoke to my angry seventh grade year old head,
Yeah, oh, definitely. When I listened to The Doors for the first time, I was 18, a freshman in college, and we were in the parking lot. And I remember I was with a friend, and she was like, "Hey, have you ever listened to The Doors?" And I'm like, Light My Fire, right?" And she's like, "No, no, 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 no. You need to listen to this." And she put it on for me, and it's a very like The Doors, they mix the blues a lot with that organ and the guitar, and it's a nice little blues riff in the beginning, and it just caught me. Each note it just caught me. And I was like, whoa. But yeah, it's something that my parents had never showed me. It's
Yeah,
nothing that, nothing that I would ever think of, finding or listening to. But yeah, it's that you found it yourself. Well, yeah,
yeah,
with a friend, but you found it yourself.
I
Um,
also think you being at the right time also is a big part of it.
yeah. Right time,
There's
right place,
bands,
right song.
yeah, there's bands that I used to hate that when I found out about them at the right time, I fell in love with them.
Was He didn't know until recently that he was a Swiftie. Now he's
Yeah.
just, a huge fan all the way around.
Taylor Swift is good.
I
Okay,
used to
Bob, don't get
pretend
started.
My
like I
daughter
didn't
listens to
like
this stuff.
80s music when I was younger, you know, and there's a
Yeah,
lot of
I'm
80s
far too
music out
young.
there.
I'm far too young to know any of the '80s music.
Bob, we'll go with you. What do you think that makes music, you know, what makes music so universally appealing for everybody? I feel like you can put on a song in a different um, part of the world, put 10 different people around it, and you could get those 10 people to enjoy that music. What do you think about it is about music that has like makes it so powerful?
Um, I think when you go like all the different mediums of entertainment or art, um, it's the one that makes you feel something, as we were saying earlier.
Mhm.
And, feeling emotions is universal. So even there's bands that don't speak English that, or their lyrics are in German that I can still get into
Mhm.
because put all together, it just it pulls out a feeling in you. And I think that's probably what it is.
I
How
agree
about
with
you,
Bob.
Levy? Oh
Oh,
yeah, I was gonna ask how about you, Levy?
yeah, I agree that I think that it's just because the whole thing is around like rhythm. It just makes you feel it more, you know? So like Bob said, you don't actually have to be able to understand what they're saying to know that a song is freaking sick, you know? Like there's German metal bands that are awesome, but
Hmm.
I don't have to know what they're saying,
I
Lewis,
if that
also
makes sense.
I also think that there's a an accessibility to it that you can take in music very passively and not even realize that you have been emotionally affected um, until later, like where you'll hear a song again and remember a time that or a time and place that you were before, and it'll like take you back to it. It's almost like a time machine type situation.
hmm
Also, when you look at other things like movies or even something like television or painting or sculpture, you kind of have to actively seek it out. Whereas music is something that
It's
is
always there.
because you can take it in passively, it kind of sneaks in. And it's like a Trojan horse where it gets in past the gates and you didn't even know it had gotten there, gotten under your skin or whatever, mixing my metaphors here. And I think that ultimately is why it affects so many people because Levy was saying, or Bob, one of the two was saying about other countries and stuff. Well, they also, if they watched a movie, they might not even realize, you watched the movie Iron Man and you hear the song Iron Man, and all of a sudden Black Sabbath is part of your life and you didn't even know it. And it could be something where you're like, I love this and I want back in the day. I'm too young, but I've heard stories about this. I certainly wasn't around when Wayne's World came out, but how everybody was all of a sudden like hit by this song called Bohemian Rhapsody,
Oh,
where
hell yeah.
and it changed a ton of people's lives. But that song had been out for forever, but it just got in there, and it was something that had another life all of a sudden. And then when the movie came out, the new movie, or newish movie about Queen, it got another resurgence on there. But once again, you could just decide to go to the movies, and then all of a sudden there's a song that's been or introduced to your life. And I think that that's why ultimately, because you can experience it passively, and then later it means something.
Oh, I love that you bring that up because that's literally how I learned of the song Bohemian Rhapsody. It
Yeah,
was the beginning of Wayne's World,
yeah,
and yeah, we were at the movies, and I remember being a kid and just, oh wow,
yeah,
this
yeah.
song, this song, oh wow, it's really
But you weren't
cool.
looking for it. That's the thing. You
Exactly.
you
Yeah.
weren't looking for that at all. You were there to see a comedy movie. And then all of a
hmm
sudden you get hit with this thing that's an amazing piece of music that potentially could change the way you look at music. I mean, I could easily see that being, somebody's I want to be sedated because I mean, if
Oh
it hits
yeah.
you at that right time with that right sound, changes the way you think about things.
Uh, Lewis, how do you like stay inspired and like motivated to keep on going and creating new music?
Oh, that's assuming that I am inspired and want to keep making music. Um, I don't know.
He's just
And sometimes
depressed
I'm
at this
not, to
point.
be honest. Sometimes I don't feel like it. Like it there will go stretches where I just I'll go in and we'll do rehearsals and stuff and I'll just not be feeling like doing it. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I'll get an idea. And I'll go over and, tap out a beat on my MIDI keyboard and, record some stuff and I'll do like two or three songs back to back to back. Um, I have a handful of projects that I'm working with my old writing partner from Michigan that they're just kind of sitting there because I just haven't been feeling inspired. So once I do for that particular project, I'll work on that. But it's just kind of I try not to force it. For
Mhm.
me, if I try to force it, it'll kill it really, really fast. But then there are some people who are very much the you got to power through, and that works for them. It's all everybody else's the way they approach it is all different. I don't know. How do you
Bob.
do it, Bob?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I was gonna say,
Sorry,
Bob,
I'm taking over. I'm taking over this. This is now
You're
my
losing
my
control of
gig.
your show, man.
Yeah.
I know. I don't know what to do. You know what? Stop the recording, guys.
Yeah.
But Bob, I was gonna say you have, you're a teacher and you have two young ones as well. What I know it's hard. I have two boys of my own. I have a 12-year-old and a 13-year-old. I know how that goes. Like what keeps you motivated and keeps you going to, you have a lot on your plate, but you're still at it. You keep going. Like what keeps you going?
I can't sit still, basically. Like my wife gives me grief all the time. Like, I can't relax. I can't just
Mm.
sit. I mean, I rarely, but for the most part, if I start sitting doing nothing, I'm like, well, I could sit and just bang on my guitar. I mean, I'm still sitting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, I just try to fill my time all the time because one day you won't have any more time. So I try to use it all the time.
Levy, what makes you I mean, you're still younger. Um,
In theory,
but
What
on
are what are
paper.
but
you insinuating?
but not everybody like not all young kids are in a band, right? There has to
Yeah.
be that extra that goes with it. What is that extra that goes with you actually wanting to stay, motivated and, wanting to make new music?
Well, I'm into really nerdy things. And
Warhammer.
yeah, like stuff like D&D and all that crap.
Uh-huh.
Um, and that stuff inspires me way more than it probably should. Like every time I hear about some new thing in any of those stupid little tabletop games that I love to play,
Mm.
it gets me excited to write a song about it. And I do that
Okay.
for, yeah, for like all of my projects that I've ever been a part of. So, yeah.
Uh, Bob, if you could collaborate with any artist, living or dead, who would it be and why?
Oh gosh, I don't know. Um, with
I don't even know what I would do.
I'm gonna go with Elvis
Mm.
because it's not even the collaboration part. I think he had a really good time all the time. So I would be there more for the after rehearsal than the actual during the music making process.
Lewis, who's something that you would have loved to work with?
Back in the day, with my first band, I always wanted Mike Nesmith from the Monkees to produce the record. That was always my go-to for that.
And
So how's
Levy,
that
how
for
about
a poll? How's that for a poll that you wouldn't have thought of?
how about you, Levy? Who's somebody that you would want to work with that, well, you would love to work with?
That's such a hard question. I don't think you understand.
Walter
Um,
Jeffy.
dude, yeah, I'll probably, this is also gonna be one that you're probably not expecting. I'm gonna have to go with Johannes Eckerstrom, probably. I would love to work on a track with him. He's the vocalist for a band called Avatar. Johannes, if you're listening to this,
Oh, we'll
let's get
tag
something
them.
going.
We'll tag
Yeah.
them. We'll get you with them for sure.
All right.
Yeah, that's not fair. Both of our guys are dead. Uh,
Hey, I
We
was
should
looking
get to
at
choose again, Bob.
I was thinking
Yeah.
ahead. I was thinking ahead, looking at the possibilities.
Um,
Not fair.
before we wrap this up, guys, one of the last questions I like to ask, oh, Bob, what has been the ultimate purpose of music in your life?
Oh, well, listening to it just chills me out. It's almost like how Adderall is a stimulant, but it calms people down. That's how I found like li listening to punk music and hardcore music is done for me. It really like levels me out. Making music is just fun. I like getting in the room with these guys and Mike and Dan. I like getting on stage. I like record. I like everything to do with the music making process and just and performing process. I like all of it. And you know, you get older, and what do they say? If you're over 25, you're insane if you're still in a band. So
That's
we're
absolutely true, though.
yeah,
That is
we're
absolutely true.
we're quite a ways past that, and I'm still doing it
You're still
because
pretty crazy if you're in a band and you're 21, so
Fair enough.
yeah. Get out early,
um
kids. Don't
yeah.
fall for
So
it.
I don't know. I just it's just I wouldn't be doing it if it wasn't super awesome, and it's cheaper than therapy. So
Are you sure about that?
it's
Yeah, I
gotta
was just
be.
about to say.
If
I
it's
don't
not, then
know.
I've been investing in the wrong thing.
Louis, how has music been what's the ultimate purpose of music in your life?
For me, I really do get something out of just expressing myself. But another major aspect for me, I was very fortunate. I've been in a couple bands before. They're all in Michigan. This is the first band I've been in California. But um, I was fortunate with one of my bands where I had a couple different people come in at different times and tell me that what we were doing meant a lot to them, that it helped them through some rough times that they were having personally, and that was it's still one of those things that sticks with me. That I really love the idea that you can write something, some stupid little song, no matter what dumb stuff you're doing, and it can mean something and help somebody through something. And sometimes, actually just writing the stuff helps you through it. You're getting your feelings and your emotions or whatever out there. But the idea that you could be putting something out there, and I may never know, but and I know that there's a lot of artists that I like that never got huge or anything, that would be considered super underground, but they've meant a lot to me and helped me through hard times. And I'm sure it's the same for them. That like knowing that you can be that thing that other bands were for you for someone else. That's pretty awesome. And I'm really thankful that those people told me. Because, like I said, we're talking. This is a long time ago now, but it still sticks with me. I still think about it often. That it's awesome to think that maybe I helped somebody through something.
And Levy, what's the ultimate purpose of music in your life?
It's just an outlet, you know. It's writing music and stuff is a way just for me to get everything I'm saying out because I can't actually say it for real because I'm not smart enough. So I'm able to, write it over a four chord song structure and, just purge all of those emotions out, I I always do it like making fun of stuff and having fun with it, So that's what I would say would be like the ultimate purpose of it would be for me.
That's awesome. Um, and the very last question, guys, I'd like to ask, um, what is your message to the world? What's the message that corporate citizen is trying to give out to the world? Bob, we'll start with you.
Oh gosh.
Fire merch.
Yeah, by parts,
Buy the merch.
by the
I don't
merch.
know. I don't know if we really have that so much. I think it's just like I don't know that just play music. Even if you don't have to play an instrument right now, go pick one up and start banging on it.
Yeah,
Make stuff.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. Yeah, we haven't talked about this before, but I'm all right with that.
yeah, I agree with that. Be creative and don't wait to until you think you're ready, because that there
Yeah.
you're never going to feel like you're ready.
Yeah, because
I
then it'll
mean,
be too late.
well, and I mean, who's ever ready? I certainly never felt like I was prepared for any of this stuff. And then the whole Bill and Ted thing, the be excellent to each other. Uh,
Yeah.
Always good advice.
yes,
Always great
but
advice. All right. Is there anything that you guys are working on right now, or any shows you guys have coming up, anything like that, that you want to put out there?
Yeah, I don't know when this is going to air, but we're playing in Solaris Brewery in Murrieta, February 21st. We're playing the Punk Rock Rodeo, March 22nd. That's a big,
That's
uh,
our thing too, isn't it? You set
um,
it up, don't you?
yeah, I'm not sure. March 22nd, it's down in OB.
Sure.
It's gonna be like 5 bars. It's Guttermouth, um, Narcoleptic Youth, bunch of local San Diego bands. April 12th, we'll be at Oceanside Brewing Company. And then in June, we're going to prom, right, Levy?
Yeah, yeah, we have the punk rock prom.
Nice.
It's my prom alternative thing that I do every year. And Corpus Innocent is playing it this year. So yeah.
Oh,
and
nice.
and Forced Edge as well.
And Forced Edge, yeah.
And we'll have new music. We like Lewis was saying, we should have that split 7-inch out. The songs that we're working on now, we're going to put out in some form or another. Um,
I'm
yeah,
thinking carrier pigeon.
Yes.
yes,
We'll be taking pre-orders soon.
Yeah,
yeah. That's how we're gonna totally turn the distribution game on its head.
revolutionize
Everything's
the
gonna be
whole
through
thing.
I
carrier
can't
pigeon.
wait. I
Yes,
So
can't
get your
wait.
bird cages now,
yes,
because you're going to have to take care of those pigeons once you get them. They're your
Yeah.
responsibility at this point, and you're going to need to make sure to feed them, walk them, take them out when they have to go to the bathroom. It's your responsibility at this point.
that's
So
right.
think about it
Team
before you commit.
team effort.
Yes,
You heard it here first, guys. Pigeon carriers. Let's
yes,
do it.
yes.
All right. Well, thank you so much to Corporate Citizen for coming on to Mikey's Untitled Music Show. Thank you for following along with this musical journey that we're having, guys. And like we say, be safe, be great. We share because we care. Have a good one, guys. Peace.
Thanks, Mike.
Bye.
Yo.